Oh man. So I want to make this video here just to address something that doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally. You may have a different opinion, but I was watching videos about poor man's Glock, or budget Glock or something like that. There's several videos like this, and somebody will have a Ruger or a M&P, and right now, I'm not saying that they're not good guns. I am not saying that. I'm saying they're good guns, right? Solid, reliable guns. Good brands, I own Rugers, right? I got a M&P AR, man. I mean, I got nothing wrong with those guns. My issue is just the reasoning behind it. I'm not trying to say anything bad about these guys. They have their opinion. I got mine. And I'm going to go over mine here. First off, an M&P compared to a Glock, right? It's going to cost you 80% of what a Glock is going to cost you. So what I'm thinking is, if a guy really wants a Glock and he saved up 80%, he might as well save up the other 20%. $400, save up the extra $5, man. I mean, well, the extra $100 and get to $5. So, if he had that much, it may take you a little while, but if he could, it doesn't make sense to me. You were able to save up 80%, and 20% away you get something else. If that's what you really want. If you want the MP, get it. If you want the Ruger, get it. But my point is, the poor man's Glock, in my opinion, or the budget Glock, stuff like that, it would insinuate that this is what you want. That you want a Glock, and you're getting something close to it. So that's my issue. Is that, like, if you're 80% there, well, then might as well just, save up a little bit more, right? So anyway, in my opinion, what would be the poor man's Glock? Okay, so first thing, people are going to leave comments, oh, that sucks, this and that. Okay, first off, people can leave comments all they want, right? But the old saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. People leave comments saying these don't work. However, if you're on YouTube, if you're watching this, if you punch in YouTube, you'll see thousands and thousands of videos of them working just fine. So, somebody leaves a comment saying you shouldn't get it, they don't work, versus tons of videos of them working fine. You'll get a couple videos that hiccup every now and then, but for the most part, whatever I put in there, I'll put look up Glock, look up, hey, you'll find anything hiccuping or something like that. You fire it enough, nothing's 100%, man. No gun is 100%. So it's going to happen. That's just the way it is. So, anyway, going back to my point, an M&P is going to cost you 80% of what a Glock costs you. So you'd only have to save up 20% to get the Glock. This guy cost you 20% of what it cost to get a Glock, right? Looking at about $550 for the Glock, about one something for this guy, 120 maybe, 150. That's a bit, something like that maybe. I'm not sure what the prices are exactly right now when you're watching this video, but I got this guy for $80, so that's even less than 20% of what the Glock cost you. But my point is, if you look at it, what's going to be pretty similar? Well, yeah, the M&P is going to be close, but this guy too. People always say that, the ones that say the Glocks are clunky, you can't carry them for concealed carry. They're about the same thickness, right? If somebody says, you can't carry a Hi-Point because they're too heavy, people carry 1911s. Those things are heavier, right? I know I've carried them. carried both. So, I mean, yeah, top heavy. Well, so is my HK. You know, I did a video review. Is the Glock a good weapon for a good budget gun for self-defense or some of that? I forget the exact name of the video, but I'm going to leave a link in the description bar. And I'm very happy with that video because I've gotten tons of comments saying that it was the best review of Hi-Point on YouTube. And I tried pretty darn hard on that, man. I watched tons of YouTube videos and the pros and cons, and I would take notes of the pros and cons, and then I went over my take on all those pros and cons I heard people talking about. What I agreed, what I didn't agree with, right? All that I put in that video. I'm going to leave a link in there. If you're on the fence about buying one of these, watch that video. I did another video about all the tweaks to do to these guns, right? Shouldn't have to do tweaks, but what it is. For the price, it's very easy to do, right? A couple bucks, pliers, sandpaper, you could, man, make this thing pretty damn solid. Now, going back to the poor man's Glock, let's say you're going to put something aside for SHTF. Well, if you have a Glock, you're going to need to put aside parts too, right? As well as ammo. Guns, ammo, yes, but you also need some parts. I told you, I bought this gun $80 at a pawn shop. I called Hi-Point. I told them I took it apart, I cleaned it, and I noticed that it was really filthy. I don't think it's been cleaned before. It was really, really cruddy. And I'm pretty sure my springs are shot. So, they sent me a couple springs. Right? And I replaced them. And as I took it apart in further detail, stripped it down all the way, I noticed, well, I need some more springs. Right? And also, I noticed, you know, when I shot it, the extractor pin was loose. And it's just because, you know, I mean, things wear and tear. This is an old one. And I called them up. Hey, you know, I need a couple springs, and also my extractor pin is loose. What do? They send me 2 extractor pins, 2 extractors, 2 extractor springs, another recoil spring, another firing pin assembly, right? They sent me a magazine spring button, stuff that I didn't even ask for. They sent me. Look at this. In a SHTF, I've got tons of parts. I kept one of everything. They sent me others, but, you know, I just, hey, put them aside. I'll hook up somebody else. I just figure, you know, I got brand new everything in here, except for the magazine safety disconnect or lockout, whatever you call it. I took it out. I don't want it in my gun. Besides that, everything in here is new. And I replaced the same parts in here. All new inside, man. Try doing that with a Glock. Hey, I need all these parts. You go get that magazine spring. You go buy that recoil spring for 30 bucks. I didn't pay for shipping on this. They sent it to me, man. If you're really on a tight budget, you're looking for the poor man's Glock. This guy, very few parts, because this is most of them right here. Very few parts, polymer, and just like the Glock, they're ugly as hell, which is fine. I mean, they work, they get the job done, right? I'm not somebody, if I'm going to go get a pair of work boots and gloves, you know, go looking for the nicest pair I can find, you know. Oh, these are nice, look at that, nice embroidery and rhinestones and shit, you know, work glove. Just get the ones that are going to work and get the job done, man. They're not going to rip on you, right? They're solid, reliable. That's what I look for if I'm going to buy work boots or gloves. If I'm going to do something like that, I'm going to buy, you know, if I'm going to buy a tool, I buy a tool. This is a tool right here, right? It gets the job done. It's reliable, right? You can tweak it a little bit and increase the reliability on it. Simple to use. Who cares about how it looks, right? People, oh, this is an ugly gun too, man. Like I said before, the 1911, that's a sexy looking gun. This is an ugly gun, but it gets the job done. That's what matters, man. Right? And, you know, heavy, 1911s are heavy. Right? 7 rounds, this got 10, you can put 10 rounds, this got 8 of 9, but you can put a 10 round of 9 in there too. And they're pretty darn accurate. Like I said, I left a review, went over everything. It's all in the description bar, you check that out. But again, the poor man's Glock, this is actually going to be it. Simple to work on, few parts, right? It kind of looks like one too, black and polymer, kind of clunky and bulky, just like a Glock. But the price, you can save up 80% of what it costs to get a gun close to Glock, right? Or you can get something that's 20%. The way I see it, if you're going to save up the 80%, just save up the last 20% and get the Glock, if that's what you really want. I want a Glock, but I only saved up 80%. Just, you know, get the Glock. And if you're really tight, then get the one that costs 20-something%. If you're really on a tight budget, man. So that's the reason for making this video. Just, I can't see getting almost finishing the race and then stopping when you're 80% done. Right? Just go the whole way. But if you want something to say you're on a very tight budget, things are tough out there, man. The economy, you know, it's not that great. People are still struggling, right? Look at, man, rents are going up like crazy. Things are still tough and times are tight still, man. And if you want something to protect your family, being able to throw lead down at a bad guy that's going to hurt your family is better than using a kitchen knife or a baseball bat, having to go up to them. If they come in with a knife, you don't got to get close to them. If they come with a gun, you know the layout of your home. They don't. Right? Now, suppose they came in with a knife and you have a knife. Well, you got to get close to them. You're going to get hurt there too. Let's say they came in with a gun and you got the knife or the baseball bat. You know, man, in that case, you just turn the lights on and tell them, hey, take whatever you want and get out of here. You know, you let your family sneak out the window and hope nobody sees them. Hope you ain't got bad intents for your wife and daughter. And, you know, hopefully. But, you know, you need a way to defend yourself, man. And this puts a gun into the reach of people who may not be able to reach a gun otherwise. If you're just want something for recreational use, you don't want to spend a lot of money. You're new to guns. Hey, you know, I'm going to buy a cheap gun and see if I like it. Right? I got it $80 at a pawn shop. Check it at a pawn shop first. See how you like it. I put all the tweaks in the video I'm going to leave in the description bar. Right? If you need parts, you call them up and they'll send you the parts you need. You can, you know, take it somewhere if you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself. You know, again, disclaimer, guys, whatever you do to your gun is on you, right? So if you're going to make all kinds of modifications, you know, you're responsible for that. Me, I'm responsible for my gun. I did the tweaks. I'm comfortable with what I did with my gun. So make sure you're comfortable with tweaking it. If not, you know, take it to an expert. Me, I feel comfortable with what I did. And, you know, they're not hard modifications. I did them. And, you know, I got to actually make a video. I took it down. It is a pretty accurate little gun, man. I'll have to make a video on that sometime. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on the poor man's Glock. I mean, if you're really busted, then get the gun that costs 20% of the Glock instead of one that costs 80%. Because if you save 80% of it, you might as well just save up the last 20%, man. If you can afford that much, I assume you can afford the last little bit. But anyway, that's just my opinion. And again, all the parts you get with that sucker for free, I just put them in this case. I got a Dollar Tree and labeled it, you know, in case. But that guy stays in my glove box. If I find a family or something that, you know, some good law-abiding citizen, a good guy that wants a way to defend himself, I'll give it to him for a good price, probably, you know. But and all this will come with it. You know, hey, what the hell. But for now, I'll just leave it in my glove box in case I need it. That's a good way to go. Inexpensive, reliable. That would be the poor man's Glock. Anyway, I'm out, guys.